So there is no reason for Mayel not to bring Gustave back at the end of Act 2. That is what I'm going to argue today in this video. If you haven't gotten to this point, spoilers ahead, so please click away now if you want to figure out all this stuff on your own. I'm going to be going deep into the end game / Act 3 and all that stuff, so if you don't want any of that spoiled for you, please click away now. If you're interested in this debate, then I guess we'll get right into it. This whole debate comes down to a few scenes at the end of Act 2, where Renoir begins to erase everybody, including Mayel. Pretty much all of Lumiere gets gommaged, right, once the paintress is kicked out. Mayel brings herself back into the painting as Alicia, and then reconnects with Verso. They go meet up with Renoir, the real Renoir, who, once he realizes Alicia is going to stay, he gets very angry and gets hostile, and then Verso and Mayel get out of there, but not before she absorbs a little bit of chroma, which is one major talking point, but we'll continue, we'll get back to that. So as they fly away on the back of Esquier, they go back to camp, where Mayel immediately tries to repaint her fallen comrades with the help from Verso, reminding her how it all kind of works. She brings back Ciel and Lune. Now, right when Ciel comes back to life, she looks at Mayel and goes, well, can you bring everybody else back? And she goes, well, no, I would need chroma, I need pure chroma. Right now, all the real chroma is under real Renoir's power. I can't really bring any more people back like you. At best, we use the old chroma in the Nevron-killed expeditioners, and I can kind of bring some people back. And that's pretty much all we really know about how chroma kind of works, besides for the fact that you need to put a bit of your soul into a painting for it to be a canvas, I assume. That seems to be another one that we know, but related to this, it's mostly those two scenes. And I posted a clip about this, my honest reactions when I first got to this point in time.
Hell game. There's no reason to not bring back Gustave. They even brought it up. She's like, oh, I'm out of pure chroma. Shut the fuck up. Go. Why? No way in any world does Mayel bring Ciel back. She met her for like 2 seconds. She doesn't even know this bitch. She would bring Gustave back before she brought her back. 100%.
And I got to have a cool discussion with a couple other fellow expedition enjoyers, and they basically said that Alicia was able to grab Lune and Ciel's chroma specifically and then use it to bring them back. Because Gustave was not killed by a Nevron, his chroma was lost to the painting and ultimately controlled by real Renoir. Thus, Alicia couldn't have repainted Gustave at this point because she couldn't access his chroma. Except I argue that there's nothing that concretely supports this theory, and it's just a way to cover up a small little plot hole that makes no fucking sense. I guess it kind of comes down to problem of specificity when it comes to chroma. There's never a point that I know of from all the scenes. I've played through the game once, I've edited an entire playthrough of it, so I've seen these cutscenes quite a few times. I've never seen her say anything about specific chroma, even in these conversations. When she first is with her dad and she collects that chroma, she says, I can see them. My honest opinion is that she kind of has this moment, since this is her first time being a painter again, and she's kind of getting back in touch with chroma again for the first time, that she's kind of pulling back the curtain and she can kind of see everybody that died. Like, she just has this moment of like, I can see them, like I can see everything, I get it, sort of a thing. She doesn't say, I can see them, grabs the chroma and says Lune Ciel, or let's get out of here guy, like anything that makes it specific. She says, I can see them. There's no thing that really says that it's specifically them. My other thing too is that they were gommaged for quite some time, I assume, right? Verso's been sitting on that bench for quite a while before Alicia kind of comes back, because they were gommaged. They have this whole thing, we learn all about that. Alicia comes back, she talks to Verso, like, they've all been gommaged for quite some time, and I assume that he would have control over everybody's chroma at that time, so the same argument for Gustave, that his chroma is controlled by Renoir, there's no reason to believe that their chroma isn't also controlled by Renoir. So then how did she get the chroma to do this? Well, the thing that makes most sense to me is that, again, we know that he's sort of angry and a little tired from being locked up for 67 years, right? That's a conversation that happens back at the camp after they leave, where Verso goes, hey, why hasn't he erased everything yet? And she's like, he's just kind of worn out. So I assume he expends a bunch of chroma, and in his anger, some of it kind of leaks out, and she's able to grab some pure chroma. Because she does, in some way, have pure chroma, because the conversation she has with Ciel kind of confirms that you need pure chroma to fully bring somebody back. So she had to at least have pure chroma, but there's nothing to say that it was specific, and there's no reason for it to be specific. Renoir has control over everything. Some of it leaked out. She grabbed it. So then that leads us to when they are trying to bring the party members back, and she's struggling with it, and he kind of has to remind her that it's about the truth of who they are, and he uses the axons as an example. Renoir painted those axons in the truth that he saw of them. In my opinion, you use chroma, and then you, as the painter, bring it alive by giving it an essence. Like, the essence isn't in the chroma, it's the painter that uses the chroma to give it something specific. The painter gives the specificity, right? It's the same thing with, like, the canvas having chroma and the ability to be accessed by painters because there's a bit of burst of soul in it. That's how I understand it. That's not the hill we're dying on today. That can be debated another time, but that's how I see it, is that the difference between a painting and a canvas is that the painter puts a bit of their soul into it, which kind of injects the painting with power. And it seems to be the same here, is that they have this chroma, this power, but before it can become anything real and specific, the paintress or painter has to inject it with something specific, and that comes from the painter, not from the chroma itself. So again, this also reinforces the fact that she just has this blank pure chroma that she then molds back into Lune and CL. And again, we have no reason to believe that she can't do that with Gustave, because she does it. If you pick her ending, Gustave makes an appearance along with everybody else.
Paint him for me, please. Let's go. W ending. Let's go. All we could ever ask for. 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10 stars. Good game. Well played.
So it seems like she just needs a certain number of pure chroma to make this happen, and she uses her 2 pure chromas to bring back 2 characters that I think she has far less interest in than Gustave. Like, the whole point of Mael's entire journey is Gustave. And it's just like, she would so bring him back here. There's literally nothing that I've found in these cutscenes or anything. Again, I'm not a lore master. There might be something that comes up or whatever is explained somewhere else. I don't know. I found all the journals. I found a lot of stuff. Platinum the game, but I'm an expert by no means, but to me it just doesn't make any sense. She would 100% bring him back. Further on this, sorry, there's more points. I just got carried away. When CL, right, again comes up and asks, can you bring everybody back? She says, I need chroma. That is a specific quote. She does not say, I need their chroma. If she said that, I would kind of be okay with it. That, like, he's like, I need their chroma. That makes it specific. But she just says, I need chroma. And she needs pure chroma. Not, I need their pure chroma. I need their pure essence. Everything to me just points that she needs a certain amount, and she only had enough to make 2 people, and she chose those 2, which makes no sense, other than devs didn't want to figure it out. So yeah, that's kind of my final breakdown and analysis of those 2 scenes, because those, as far as I know, are the only ones that relate to bringing him back, or how much those 2 scenes kind of tell us all kind of about how that stuff works. For the most part, it is still very vague how painting works. Probably I will be disproven, or I will be proven right later if they make more content and stuff. I'm sure that they will iron out how painters work, since this was mostly just about family problems building into a bigger world of painters and writers, which I hope they delve into. But from what this game showed us so far, there's no reason that Gustave should have been left in the darkness at the end of Act 2. He should have been brought back. She had the chroma to do it. I think it was just the devs not figuring out and already having a plan that Verso replaces Gustave, but I think, dude, it would have been so powerful to bring him back, right? You go through all of Act 1, lose Gustave, you go through all of Act 2, and you find out she can paint again, and then she repaints him then, and you can play as Gustave in his full form, and it would be awesome. Why we never get to see a full fleshed out Gustave, I will never know, but that's my take on it. If you guys have other quotes, or you're vehemently against this idea because it's so obvious that it's a special chroma, I don't think it is. I'm not fighting anybody. The game's great, but in my opinion, she should have brought him back. Act 2, no reason. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. If there was something that I missed very specifically in another scene or this scene, again, I kind of covered most of it. I know that there's 2 chromas she absorbs. I know that she says I can see them. I know that she says I need to remember who they are. I know that, but these are my explanations for all of that. That makes sense to me. They may not make sense to you. It is very easy to just say, well, Gustave didn't die. She doesn't have access to Gustave's chroma, but that doesn't seem to make any sense because it doesn't seem to me that there's a specificity to the chroma. Yeah, have a good one, guys. Bye.